It's my guess that a lot of you find golf frustrating at times, even if it's something that you love, based on not fully understanding the concepts behind the game and why the golf ball flies and curves the way it does. I think a lot of us think that we understand the mechanics that go into making a ball go to the right or go to the left, but we don't understand them on a level that translates to the golf course. And we find ourselves frustrated, stuck in pattern behavior that can be easily corrected. I hope at the end of this video, I can help you diagnose by yourself why your ball is going to the right, why it's curving to the right, why it's curving to the left, and to be able to take ownership over your own golf swing. The single most fundamental concept for why the golf ball flies the way it is a differentiation between two concepts. I want you to understand two concepts: orientation of the club and direction of the club. So let's look at this whole golf club, particularly, the metal portion back here. Don't pay attention to this arrow. Notice that this club directionally is moving relatively straight down this line, okay? Notice also, now we're looking at the orange tee. Notice that it's also oriented that direction, okay? But just because my golf club is directionally straight doesn't mean it has to be oriented straight. And just because it's oriented straight doesn't mean the direction has to be straight. Okay? And any time that we have a difference between the orientation and the direction, anytime that these disagree, we're going to have curvature. So let's say this club represents straight down our target. So the end of this club represents our flag if we're going at the flag, okay? So if we want to hit a shot straight at the flag, right at the end of this club, we'd want our orientation, represented by this alignment rod, to be straight. And we'd want the direction that the club is swinging to also be straight. So these are all stacked on top of each other. These are going the same direction. And we know that orientation and direction, when they're headed the same way, the shot is straight, and when they differ, we get different curvatures. Okay. Let's assume that our orientation, or our club face, remains straight with the target, but our direction moves to the left, okay? This angle created here represents curvature. The bigger the angle, the bigger the curvature. So we'll talk about this more extensively, but when this club is traveling to the left of the face and the target, that ball is going to curve rightward. We'll talk about why in a second. That'll make more sense. If this angle is traveling to the right, if our path is traveling to the right and that face is in the same place, the ball will go to the left. Notice the ball is going two different directions with the same orientation based on where the direction is. And we'll talk about why. This is probably the most important concept of the whole video. Something that we're just going to take as a fact is that the ball, the initial direction that the ball starts, is dictated solely based on where the orientation is. So if the club is oriented this way, the ball will start this way. If the club is oriented this way, it'll start this way. We're going to say that is an empirical fact, even though we know through scientific data that it's closer to 80% of the start lines indicated by the club face. But that's high enough where, for educational purposes, we can just round up and call it total control. So if this club face is aimed here, the ball will start here. If the club face is aimed straight, it'll start straight. If it's aimed to the right, it'll start right. So that being said, club face should be our most important thing in terms of hitting shots at our target, because that's where our ball is going to start, okay? So if we get this off, the shot is immediately going to be offline. So this should be our main focus, because we know that for a fact wherever your ball starts, this face was pointed. We know that, okay? But we also know from earlier that anytime that our orientation and our direction differ, we create spin equivalent to the degree of separation, okay? Think about this as like a protractor or a compass. We're opening it up here, more distance, more curvature. So we know we can objectively understand where the club face was oriented simply based on where the ball launches, where it starts, its start line, okay? So we know objectively when we hit a shot and we watch where it starts, we know exactly where the face is pointed, okay? How do we know where the direction is going? I'm gonna grossly simplify this, but you'll find this really helpful. So if I'm set up for a shot, think about it from waist high to waist high, okay? This is the only thing that matters as far as the ball is concerned. If when this club is waist high, parallel with the ground, if you have a camera straight down your hands like I do, set up a camera at home, try this. If this club head at parallel is inside of your hands, chances are that club is moving rightward. All things being equal. If you get down, there's probably more of you, and at parallel, that club is outside of your hands, okay? We can reasonably infer that your direction is leftward, okay? Now there's lots of ways to explain the friction, but I don't think it's as important in this instance to understand why. Just know what is, okay? If the club head is outside your hands here, we know that it's this way, okay? So I want you to think about it this way. I'm set up for a shot, I come down, it's out in front of my hands, okay? It's to the right of the target, okay? If it's to the right of the target, it's going to spin right, okay? So if right here, at shaft parallel, that club is to the right of the target, my shot is going to have rightward curvature. If that shaft parallel to the ground, the club is left of my target. You see that? Left of my target. Let's exaggerate. Left of the target. It's going to curve left. Okay, let's recap. Wherever the ball starts is where the face is oriented. Okay? The direction it curves signifies where in relation to the target your club was at parallel. So it's going to have rightward spin if at parallel to the ground my club is right of the target, and it's going to spin left if parallel to the ground my club head is left. Okay? Then it'll spin to the left. Okay? So we know start line, we know spin. So let's say a perfect shot, dead straight, okay? Orientation is right at the target, and at parallel, the head is right down the target. Okay, that's our straight one. Let's keep the face the same for all these examples. So here, where is that ball gonna start? It's gonna start straight, okay? And if I come down and I look out in video, my club is to the right of the target at parallel. The ball is going to launch straight and spin right, okay? So it'll look good and it'll spin off to the right, okay? Same thing. Club face is oriented here. At parallel to the ground, my club is left of the target. It's going to start straight and curve off left, okay? Major extremes. The face is oriented over there to the right. My club is also to the right at shaft parallel, okay? This is the biggest curvature we can have. Would be this way, okay? That's the worst shot we can hit, and that's a shot that probably a lot of you hit. The face is too open, and the club is too far outside, okay? So if it's to the right, it's gonna spin to the right. And if the face is to the right, it's going to launch to the right. So it'll launch to the right and spin away. Equally bad, that face is oriented to the left. My club is also to the left here of the target at parallel. So it's going to launch left and spin left. Okay? This is the point of the video. We need to understand those patterns so that we can correct one of these two to try to minimize curvature or have some idea of where the ball is going to go. So, what do we do here? We need to either, let's say this is the major slice scenario, okay? Ball starting to the right, club head to the right at parallel. Okay, so we got a club going this way and a face this way. Big V here, okay? So in an ideal world, you know, we could get these straight, but that involves a lot of swing manipulation. So note, you see how I'm using these like chopsticks? The closer they get, the closer we are to grabbing a straight shot, okay? We don't need it to be perfectly here. We just need them to be closer for a reasonable shot. So the first thing to do, rather than change your swing, just shut the club face to get the ball starting on a more reasonable line and shrink the curvature. We'll talk about exactly how much you should shrink the curvature for the swing that you have. Okay, so you've taken a video of yourself and your ball launches straight, so you know the face is straight, and at parallel to the ground with the club shaft, the club is also straight, okay? If that's you, you can stop the video and go teach somebody else, okay? But if it's not you, how do we want to organize an imperfect swing to hit great golf shots? Okay, I want to use a Pac-Man analogy here. So in essence, Pac-Man, you just got a mouth like this, right? Okay, we know big spread between these two is more curvature, no curvature, okay? Say we got some curvature, so we got something like this. Let's say we got the typical scenario. Your face is too open, and your path, or your face would be open, but your path is too across, okay? We got these. So these are disagreeing. How do we hit a perfect shot? Again, this is one of those examples of it's better just to know the fact. You don't have to understand all the science yet. Have a couple of good rounds and then get back to me and we'll talk about the science behind it, okay? If we have a face that's pointed to the right, this ball is going to start to the right, and the path here is left of the face, so anytime the path is moving left here, or the club is out to the right, it's going to go to the right. So this ball will start this way and turn hard to the right, okay? So if this club is the straight line, let's do that. We don't want the club face to go all the way here on top of the direction, because now we've hit a perfectly straight shot to the left, okay? So that's not the answer. We can't have the closed Pac-Man mouth, okay? We can't line it up if we have an imperfect path, which is probably most of you. So where objectively do we need to aim this club face so that with the curvature that we know we have, the ball will fall reasonably close to where we want it to land, okay? The answer is this. If this club path, let's call it 10 degrees facing this way, okay? So we know the ball is going to curve this way some amount. We know by measurements, this is a fact, that somewhere about halfway in between straight and our path, we want to aim the face, okay? I'm gonna grab the camera here. So let's recap. This is the club direction, the path. This is the club face. This is our straight line, in this example. So if we can't correct the path, if we just keep that constant, and our face was over here, it gets better as we do this, because the closer we move this over, the closer it is to starting straight. But even if we got the face all the way to the straight, it would still start here and curve to the right because there's this Pac-Man mouth, okay? But we also don't want the face, we don't want to close it all the way here because now we've created no curvature and that ball is gone with no return, okay? So mathematically, if you're here, you want to be encouraged to shut the face. This is ideal. And you don't have to know why, but scientifically, if we, however big this little Pac-Man mouth is between the yellow and orange stick here, it'll be about equivalent in curvature. So if there's this angle here, by the end of the ball flight, it'll be about there. You see how I doubled that? So that being said, we can hit shots that finish directly on our line with the same club path that we had, only by changing the face, which is way easier because we can just close the face. So notice anytime that it gets to here, the ball would just go to the left. And even worse, if it got left of this, now we got another Pac-Man mouth, and that ball would actually start this way and continue to curve that way, okay? So what we need to understand is our Goldilocks region. If you are somebody who has an open club face because you see the ball start to the right, and with your camera right down your hand line, you see at parallel to the ground, your club is to the right of the target, okay? We know that this, to some degree, is the vector that you have, okay? So in recap, we know if we change nothing, we're just gonna keep swinging our direction this way. But our orientation of the face is still that way. So all we have to do is get that face turned somewhere so it's pointing in the middle of Pac-Man's mouth, okay? So basically the lesson of the day is you want to eat the club face angle, okay? Wherever straight is, call that the top of Pac-Man's mouth, his top jaw. If your path is different than straight, you want that club face to be right in the middle of Pac-Man's mouth, okay? So that club here is straight. All right, now this orange tee is our club path, okay? If we know our direction is this way, we don't want the face right there because it would just go to the left. We don't want our face here because the ball would start straight and veer off to the right. We want to eat the club face. Okay, you see how that's splitting straight and our path? So the way you do this so granted, if you're hitting shots that are curving to the left, you're not always gonna be, but you're probably the better player, so you might be following along with me right now. But most of you, club face a little bit too open, path a little bit too far across. So how do we go about fixing that? So first swing, we make our normal swing. The ball starts to the right, it curves off to the right. Or maybe even starts straight and then curves off to the right, okay? What do? Set up the same way, close that face a little bit. Before you take your grip, swing again. Pay attention to where the ball starts. That'll tell you exactly where this is. So say my first swing was here, my second swing, it started just to the right, okay? So we know that we've moved the face from here to here, okay? We're closer. Close it more. So take the club, close the face, take your grip. We get this shot. We see the ball start dead straight and fall off to the right, getting closer. We know the face is pointing right there, but we need Pac-Man to eat the club face angle. We gotta have our club face angle where it's in the middle of Pac-Man's mouth, okay? So we close the face more. Now, we got the face here. Okay, so the ball's starting a little bit left, and then it's still finishing a little bit too far to the right. That's a functional golf shot. Eventually, we get this right between the two, okay? We know we've gotten there because the ball starts to the left and it lands right at our target, okay? So right there, you've met your objective, but I'll tell you when you can scale it back. Say you want to cut to the chase, get that face way shut. Keep shutting that face until you hit that ball to the left. That just keeps going that way, okay? If you hit a ball to the left that's curving to the left, you can definitely scale it back because at that point you would have gotten it here. But notice with Pac-Man's mouth, we only need it right in the middle. So what are we trying to avoid here? We're trying to avoid this, okay? This is ideal. This is probably most of you, okay? So what's the lesson here? Anytime that between straight and the direction of our club, anytime that there's an opening here, we know that the club face needs to get eaten right in the middle of Pac-Man's mouth, okay? We're not getting fed here. We're not getting fed here. So lesson of the day, take a video straight down the line, find out where your club is oriented when it's parallel with the ground. Is it in line with you? Is it to the right of your target? Is it to the left of your target? Okay, once you figure that out, say your path is moving too far this way, we need our club face orientation in the middle of Pac-Man's mouth, okay? Not getting eaten, going to the left, never coming back, curving to the left, okay? Bad, 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 good, 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 decent, 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 bad, 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 okay? Right there in between, halfway in between. The angle of the left side of that triangle is the same as the angle of the right side of that triangle. Right there is what you want to be striving for. So if this very open Pac-Man's mouth, that slice shot, if this is you, I'm going to give you a drill. Better players, I'll give you a drill in a second. Okay, so we know that we need, if that club over there, that putter is our straight, okay? Bad, bad, better, 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 better. As soon as this lines up with straight, it's okay. And then this is great, great, great. We're getting eaten between. So now this is Pac-Man's mouth here. Anywhere between straight and our path, we're eating, okay? Business is good, okay? This is all land of good shots. This and this are land of just awful shots, okay? These are our absolute no's. So what's the drill? For you who are hitting that slice shot, set a club or an alignment stick straight down your target line. This is what you do. You close that face, okay? So here's your shot. Here's your first shot. Starts to the right and goes to the right. Big loser. Okay, so here's where we get our game. What we're gonna do is a challenge. Any shot that starts to the left and curves to the right is a win. Any shot that starts to the right, no matter what, is a loss. So if it starts to the right, just give up on that rep because it's over. It's not coming back. It's gone because our path is this way, okay? Anything that starts to the left and curves is a win, okay? If it goes to the left and has no curve, you've lost because Pac-Man's mouth is no longer open, okay? So anything that starts to the left of our target and moves to the right is a win. If it starts right, it's a loss. If it starts left and doesn't go to the right at all, it's a loss. And if it starts left and goes to the left, we have an entirely different problem, and we'll touch base about that, okay? So that face is too open on that first one. It started to the right, it's a loss, okay? Close the face, regrip it. Okay, that's a win. It started to the left, started fading, and it missed right of our target. So that's not ideal, okay? So if this is straight, the first one that we hit was this. The second one that we hit was this, but we know it's not right in the middle of Pac-Man's mouth. So we gotta get it still more closed than it is, okay? That's still a win, but what's better? Let's try to get one right in the middle. So we need it more closed, so turn the face more closed. Gotta get the face more closed so that the club face is pointed in Pac-Man's mouth. So more closed. Okay, that's perfect. Started left, tiny little fade, hit it to 3 yards, okay? That's perfect, okay? What's an example of a loser? Turn the face too much. You've probably seen, if you're a slicer, you've probably done this before. Your hope is lost and you're tired of hitting to the right, you close that face, you probably hit this one. All right, that's not inside Pac-Man's mouth, that's a loser. All right, I'm gonna give you a personal example for me. My path is always, my club is always to the left of my target. So my path is always moving this way, okay? So if this is Pac-Man's mouth, here, these are losers, and these are huge losers, okay? So for me personally, and maybe for better players, if your path is to the right and your face gets to the left, having your face closed is the worst thing you could do. That's an enormous Pac-Man's mouth. So for me, if my path is here, if this is my path, my face needs to be not at the target, because it'll veer off this way. It needs to be right in Pac-Man's mouth. So I don't want to have my club face square. I want to have it a little bit open. So here'd be one where I had it square. So my path is this way, but my face is dead straight. This is that shot. It's gonna start relatively straight and veer off to the left. Okay? So I'm not in Pac-Man's mouth there whatsoever. And bear in mind, it started dead straight, so that's why it's not an intuitive thing. Okay? So I need my ball to start to the right and not come back all the way. Just kind of fall to the left. So my face needs to be more open. Take my grip. Okay, starts to the right. Turns over. 0 yards. I made it. Hole in one. So what's the step-by-step process? Get a camera, set it up straight behind your hands, not the ball, right behind your hands. Take a normal swing, hit the ball, and stop. Take a slow motion video and stop it when your club is parallel with the ground. Is the head to the right of the target or is it to the left of the target? Then you know where this should be pointed, okay? If we want to represent it figuratively, okay? How do we know where the face has been aimed? Wherever the ball starts, okay? So if this is our target, if this is straight, let's make a representation. So if we look on video and we know our path is here, that's solved. We hit the shot, we see where it starts. All right, find out where that is. And if that isn't inside of Pac-Man's mouth, if it's here, or if it's here, open or close the club face to accomplish what you need. Because Pac-Man's mouth is the path and your straight line. You need your club face in between here to hit good shots, okay? So the lesson of the day is you can solve pretty much everything with your club face angle. And again, how we do that is it's as simple as turning the face to the left, more left. Turn the face to the right, more right. And solve it yourself, because you should understand it a little better now.